Hello, I'm Brian Clark, editor of the Modesto Bee, and welcome to today's 2020 general election forum featuring the two candidates who will be vying for Senate District 5. Running to represent the district that covers most of Modesto, all of San Joaquin County and Galt, are Susan Talamantes Eggman and Jim Ridenour. Moderating tonight's panel will be the Bee's opinions editor, Garth Stapley, and he'll be joined by the editorial board, myself, Patty Guerra, our managing editor, and Maria Figueroa, the information and research specialist. Garth, take it away.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining us, candidates. We're very pleased to have you here at the Modesto Bee. We are going to start with opening statements. They will be 1 minute each, and we'll start with the Assemblywoman.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Modesto Bee for hosting this, even in these unusual circumstances. And thank you for anybody who's listening in. And also thank you to former Mayor Ridenour. It's always, it's always good to debate issues and really come at things with informed perspectives, I think, and then let the voters always decide, right, who they think has the best ideas. As people know, I'm from Stanislaus County. I was born in the Bay Area, but raised in Turlock, graduated from Turlock High. Went to the military after that, 4 years, got out. I've got my degree in social work. I have done work in addictions. I have done work with mental health and healthcare. I've also been a professor. I got into politics kind of later in life after 40. Served on the Stockton City Council a term and a half, and have served as the state representative for San Joaquin County Assembly District 13 since 2012. It's been my honor to serve the county that I have called home, and I would be especially honored to continue to serve the county I call home and the county I grew up in. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor.
I've been in Central Valley. My whole family is here today, here in this county. I ran and won the mayor's race in Modesto for 2 terms. We went through the worst economic recession in history. I was president of the League of California Cities and worked with mayors on both sides, you might say, the different opinions. Up until the coronavirus, I was serving as a part-time Stanislaus County Deputy Sheriff, and my years serving public and working with both sides, I've been able to cross aisles and really the leadership we need. Thank you for hosting this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. All right. For this first question, we'll go to Jim only. Jim, Sacramento has been under one-party rule for many years. What makes you think a Republican can get anything done in a legislature dominated by Democrats? You can have up to 1 minute.
Well, I think one of the things that I've been improved and I do in my leadership, I can work on both sides of the aisle. I think with open communications and stuff, we can change what's going on in Sacramento. With my prior experience and lower regulations, I believe we can get a lot done. Thank you.
Patty, you want to take the next question?
Yes. So this question is for Susan only. Susan, you've represented the San Joaquin County for 8 years in the California Assembly. Obviously, the 5th Senate District also takes in Stanislaus County. How can voters here be sure you won't forget us if you are elected?
Well, I guess I can ask you to take my word for it. I think you've seen me around in Stanislaus County before the pandemic hit a lot, and well before I was even running for the Senate seat. I have been active up and down the valley. As people know, I chair our Assembly Agriculture Committee and have served in that position. So I've had deep relationships with the ag community down there. I was just on communicating with Maribel Gallo yesterday on some legislation we were working on. And again, I'm from Stanislaus County. I did a bill that we just got through at the end of session yesterday that was a real conundrum around getting enough progress on one of the levies that impact mostly San Joaquin County, but Heath Flora came in and really helped with that at the last minute. So between myself, Kathleen Galgiani, and Heath Flora, we're able to do some important levy work that will continue to improve things for that area. So it is, and again, as you know, ag is the biggest economy in our area, in this area. And so that has been a real focus of mine. People know I come from a farming family. And so it is close and near and dear to my heart.
Thank you. The next question is for Jim. You were mayor of Modesto for 8 years, but most voters in the 5th Senate District live in San Joaquin County. So what are you doing to reach voters up in San Joaquin County?
Working hard within that area of the San Joaquin County. I've had meetings. I have an open, I'm open to anything that we can talk about. I'm up there. I'm trying to meet with people, find out what is important in San Joaquin County. I have an open door policy, and I focus on whatever I can find out is really going on in San Joaquin County.
Maria, do you want to take the next question?
Sure. This is for Jim only. Your opponent has served at the Capitol in Sacramento since 2012. Why should voters choose someone with far less state level experience?
Would you repeat that, please?
Sure. Your opponent has served at the Capitol in Sacramento since 2012. Why should voters choose someone with far less state level experience?
Well, I think that the voters should have an open case. I will be open to them. The most liberal senators, and I do not think that representatives have worked as the president. I have worked for the president of California City.
Susan, this question is for you only. Your opponent may be perceived as a candidate for change in this race. If voters are frustrated with leadership in Sacramento, doesn't your opponent represent a better chance at shaking things up?
Well, that might be an interesting perspective. I think if in the abstract, I think in reality, my opponent is at least 2 decades older than me, and not that age matters, but I think my experience, and as far as being able to work across party lines, I think I have a very strong record of somebody who's able to work across party lines. I think the work I've been able to do in the assembly, one, $1 billion solar bill, again, being able to get levies works passed. And right now, I think when we're in this really critical place, looking at social change and issues as it relates to race and policing and all of those things, I put forth 2 pieces of legislation that passed. I hope the governor signs. One that says, what if we're going to have social workers working in law enforcement, what does that look like, and what is the implementation around that? So I think somebody with a deep knowledge of policy about how we actually implement some of these great ideas is vital to have in that seat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, you were mentioned in her response there in regards to your age. Should we be concerned about your age?
No, you should not be. I am in perfect health. I've had my physicals and everything. I have no problems at all. I don't think people should be concerned with that.
All right. Because of COVID exposure, most Republican senators were quarantined from late last week until the end of the legislative session, which was very early this morning. When Democratic senators voted last night to restrict debate on other bills, one frustrated Republican, speaking remotely, called the move BS, except she didn't abbreviate it like that. Share your thoughts on that. We'll start with Susan.
I will say, as somebody who has been through a lot of end of sessions, the one last night didn't end till 1:30. They started at 10 a.m., I believe we started. So it is a long time to be in an incredibly stressful situation. So I don't, everybody's an adult. Bad language is sometimes used. And the process at the end of session is incredibly stressful. So I don't know if you're asking me if it was wrong for her to say BS or if it was wrong for them to be voting remotely, or I'm not quite sure my reaction to that. I mean, people swear, and so that happened, and I understand their frustration, right? I mean, they had the Republican caucus had an event where none of them wore masks, and they were all in the room together, which again, as they agreed, was against public health guidelines. One of them got ill, the rest had to be in quarantine, and so I thought Senator Pro Tem Atkins, did her very best to provide their 11 million constituents who look to them for leadership the opportunity to do so. Was it smooth? That is up to the beholder.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. I think we're more concerned about whether it was right to exclude the people who were elected and have a right to be in the legislature. Jim, do you have much to say about that? Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
I wonder if you would have something to say about the Republican senators who were excluded from the legislature last night.
well, I believe they should all be wearing masks. Social distance. I mean, we need to stop the spread. If the trouble comes, I will support legislation to help small business. Yes, they should have been stopped. Wear masks.
Very good. We have a few other questions about COVID. It's top of mind right now. The world has changed because of this pandemic. Late last night, the legislature passed a bill protecting renters who could not pay rent because of COVID from being evicted until February, as long as they pay 25% of what's owed. Another bill would have allowed renters to stay as long as April without paying rent. Which do you agree with, or did you prefer another solution? Jim, we'll start with you.
Well, what was the question? The first question? I'm sorry, Barb.
I was asking about legislation about protecting renters from being evicted in Sacramento. I wondered which set of legislation you prefer.
I agree that we cannot put people on the street. Anything we can do to help them stop this coronavirus, we need to help them out. We don't need to be putting people out on the street at this time.
Susan, which bill did you support?
Well, it was as most things in politics, it was a grand compromise that nobody was overly happy with. I think, we had to do something, as the mayor points out. You just can't be putting people on the streets. People aren't back to work yet, especially in the Valley. We have not been able to stem the tide of the virus. And so you have to provide protections. I think people would have liked to see it extended longer, and people would have also liked to see the banks have some more skin in the game. We were unable to get that compromise. So, the rental groups and the landlords nobody was 100% happy, but it was a compromise till February. And, if it's me or if it's Mayor Ridenour sitting representing us in the Senate, whoever that is, I trust they will be a strong advocate to make sure that Valley residents are taken care of, and we do everything we can. Again, not to put landlords on the hook because they've got a mortgage to pay too, but to be able to have banks, landlords, and people affected by COVID be a part of the solution, and for God's sakes, stop the tide of people losing their homes and places to live.
All right, let's do something a little bit different. I'm gonna talk about 3 coronavirus-related bills that were just recently passed and are now awaiting the governor's signature on his desk. I want to know your positions on them. We don't want very long answers, so kind of move through this quickly, if you will. I'm going to hit the Assemblywoman with all 3, and then we'll go to Jim for all 3. Okay, first one, labor protections for hotel, janitorial, and airport employees. Your quick position, Susan.
Support.
Very good. I think we'll just go straight to Jim. Jim, how about you for that? Labor protections for hotel, janitorial, and airport employees.
Yes, I support that.
Very good. Another bill would allow people who are short on cash to borrow more money from their retirement accounts without tax penalties. Jim, support or not?
Yes, of course, I support that.
Susan?
Support.
Another bill would award high school diplomas to students who were unable to finish the final months of high school because of COVID. Susan?
Support.
and Jim.
I support it.
Wow, there's a whole lot of support for people affected by COVID out there. Okay, thank you. Also last night, to increase housing in California, the Assembly passed a bill requiring that cities permit duplexes on lots that otherwise would be restricted to one house. But the Senate did vote, or did not vote on the bill before the midnight deadline, and it died. So what's your position on that? Jim?
I believe we need more lower regulations and taxes so we can develop our housing. Affordable housing is very important right now. Yes, I support.
Okay, that legislation, Susan?
Yeah, I support that legislation. I mean, I don't know, you can't see where I am right now, right? But I live in an old 100-year-old house with a little mother-in-law in the back. I mean, it works in old neighborhoods like mine. And certainly if you're in different parts of the state, and able to increase density to be able to have, houses in the back or a duplex on a lot it is one of the easiest ways to be able to increase housing without going out into greenfield or without doing massive developments. It's a way to maintain character of a neighborhood and provide people, easier places to stay. In addition to, for some people, creating a revenue stream. If they have a duplex, if they have a large enough lot that works for them, then you also have another revenue stream or another place for a family to stay when things get bad like they are now.
This next question is for both Jim and Susan. You'll each get a minute, and we'll start with Jim. The legislative session ended yesterday without significant action to reduce the state's enormous fire risk or to help thousands of Californians find affordable homeowners insurance. What should be done to help?
Well, we need to have forest management is very important. We need to fund it. And I believe that they do need the help from the federal government to help us go through these fires.
Thank you. Susan?
I'm sorry.
So that is a difficult situation, right? I mean, there's a lot of pushback about socialism and this and that. And at the same time, you can't really ask the private insurance companies to cover things that we built in places perhaps people shouldn't have lived. And as the climate continues to warm and more places become prone for fire, just in our own Stanislaus, San Joaquin County, we had some of the wildfires this last time. I think you need to have some kind of federally or state-backed insurance program. But then again, then you're getting out of the private market. So I think these are things that need to be hammered out. I serve on natural resources and utilities, and these are certainly conversations that we have been engaging in. And it is not resolved yet, and we still need more work on it.
Thank you.
Okay, this next question is a 30-second answer question. Should state prison inmates who have fought on wildland fire crews be allowed to join city, county, or state firefighting agencies? And we will start with Assemblymember Eggman.
Yes, Eloise Reyes carried a bill for that last night. One of my colleagues from Riverside because oftentimes as people know, if you're in prison, you probably did something that would not allow you to be then hired by a public agency. I think that's wrong with folks out there who have proved themselves, and if they are safe risks, they have been working on those fire lines, there's no reason that they shouldn't then be eligible at least to be able to apply for a job with the city and county and do the work that they've been paid pennies on the dollar for. And we've appreciated their service when they're out there doing it. We should appreciate their service when they come back out and then are looking for gainful employment, hopefully to reduce recidivism. They have a good job and are not as likely to reoffend.
Mayor Ridenour, should public agencies be allowed to hire convict firefighters?
Should be able to serve a sentence. I think they should. In fighting fires, especially the large fires, they'll be trained to be able to go right in and be staffed.
Maria, will you take the next question?
Sure, we'll start with Mayor Ridenour. How does a politician campaign effectively during a pandemic?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
How does a politician campaign effectively during a pandemic?
Well, that's a good one. It kind of locks you in at the house. It's more mailers, I think, will be used. It'll be an all, ballot, but it's very hard. You have to be doing mailers and you have to do it all by mail. I mean, you're not going out indoors or nothing. You'll be doing like signs and everything you can do that doesn't stretch out to the COVID-19.
Assemblymember Eggman, same question. How do you effectively campaign during a pandemic?
Well, I guess we'll all figure out November 3rd what effective is. But I've been organized well before the primary, and so I have a fantastic group of young people. And for me, especially as a former professor and as somebody who strongly believes in growing leadership, I feel like I've already been effective because I've got a fantastic group of young folks on who are organizing in San Joaquin County and Stanislaus County. And we've been using the campaign for good. We've been giving out masks. We've been giving out hand sanitizer. We've done diaper drives. We're just really trying to kind of meet the people in the moment where they are. We had our virtual kickoff, Zoom kickoff. We had about 100 people on. And so we're doing it virtually, but we're also being careful when we're out there. But again, trying to be very cognizant and sensitive to this moment and providing needs and listening to people as they're going through this, right? So masks, hand sanitizer, answering questions. Again, my campaign staff is very different from my assembly staff, but I can tell you, it's not as a campaign technique, but it's hopefully as a good public servant. My staff has been working 7 days a week fielding calls for EDD and constituent issues. And so we'll see.
Very good. All right. We want to know if you support the State Water Board's decision in 2018 to double environmental flows on the Tuolumne and Merced rivers and to increase them by 50% on the Stanislaus River. We'll give you up to 60 seconds each. We'll start with Ms. Eggman.
Yeah, as I talked last time I was on here, these aren't yes or no answers. These are complicated issues. The voluntary service agreements help with the flows. The new groundwater sustainability management plan will also inform a lot of that. As you know, I represent the Delta area. So the environmental impacts as it relates to reducing flows from the Delta has huge impacts for the district I currently represent, as well as our entire water system. And of course, we have to balance that with ag, right? Like I've said before, I'm the chair of ag. So I deeply understand the issues of water and the importance of that. But it is not either or. I think it's a give and take, having the best science at the table, continuing to stay in conversations about the flows, and especially with the voluntary service agreements as they are implemented, as people are able then to see the impact it's going to be. I don't think, I think there's always fear about what the impact will be. But I think if we use the best science and we know that there are competing interests, and California is a massive state that we have to facilitate, then I think we get there.
Just as a follow-up quickly, Susan, I just want to make sure I understand. Do you support the voluntary agreement process then?
I do.
All right. Mr. Mayor, it's your turn.
Okay, no, I don't support that. We need to get the farmers the water they need. They're producing the fruit, and the water is needed in agriculture. Agriculture business is the primary. Water is worth it. You really fighting for it.
Patty?
Yeah.
Okay, the next question, and we will start with Mr. Ridenour. What is your position on high-speed rail?
I am totally against it. We've spent too much money on high-speed rail. It doesn't go anywhere. A lot.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I train that really goes nowhere. Money on roads.
Mr. Mayor, I think we're having microphone issues. If you can.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yep, thank you.
Yes.
Get on top of this thing. No, I do not support the high-speed rail at all. It goes nowhere. And all it's doing is taking a lot of transportation. It could be for people of California. We spend enough money on a high-speed rail, it goes nowhere.
Okay. Thank you. Susan.
Well, as you know, that was a voter initiative. So the voters voted for the high-speed rail. We'd have to go back to the voters to do something different about that. I will say that I think it has gone so over cost, and I have proposed, written a letter and been a strong advocate, and I think you guys criticized me for this, but to take some of that high-speed rail money and to put it into things like the Valley Link and the ACE that will get people up Stanislaus County, Merced County, all the way over to the Bay Area seamlessly, get people off the roads. So I think, I don't think you can change the spine of that project, but I think you can make more arteries leading into it versus the spine and then the arteries, to do it the other way, the arteries and then the spine. And that is what I have advocated for, and indeed got legislation passed to do an authorization for the Valley Link, which will connect the ACE and the BART, then all the way down through Merced County. So that's been my position. I have been a problem solver. Nobody likes the high-speed rail, but it's there. But how can we make it work for us and use that funding to really bring things home for the Valley?
Jim, this next question is for you. When you made your announcement to run in November last year, you told a Bee reporter that you weren't happy with what is going on in the state. And you said conditions in some cities resemble third world countries. Which cities were you referring to and why?
Well, I think traveling through and seeing cities like Los Angeles and all the homeless people and what was taking over Los Angeles, San Francisco. Those are the two cities that I was in and I saw what was going on. And the budget deficits, business leaving, closing, and the fires all over the state, rampant, homeless. We need to put money into changing that and getting affordable housing and different things for the homeless people.
Thank you.
Okay, this question is for each of you. You'll get 30 seconds each, so it'll be a short answer. But can you identify something you appreciate about your opponent? Start with Jim.
Go with Jim first. Yeah.
Yes.
He's a veteran, and I support her. I was a veteran at the time too, so I do support her because she's served in this country.
Okay. And Susan, what is something that you appreciate about your opponent?
Well, I would say the same thing. I know he, mayor, served in the National Guard, 1961. And again, I didn't mean to be ageist in any kind of way, but I'm just saying if you're running as a change person, that was my comment to that, because certainly I'm entering my seventh decade. I am no spring chicken, as they would say. But I appreciate his service, his willingness to run. And I've always said, when people say, why are you running? I always say, why aren't you? I mean, it's our democracy. It is our country. It is our state. We all have a responsibility, I think, to bring our best gifts to the equation and let the voters then decide, right? We all have ideas. We all have philosophies. We put them out there. We work hard. We try to, meet people where they are, and then we have to let them decide at the end of the day.
Thank you. Both of you are seeking to represent the state of California. The state of California has certain COVID mandates that we are to follow. What do you think of the Stanislaus County Supervisor's vote in March to look the other way if businesses refuse to comply with state COVID mandates? We'll start with Susan.
I think it was wrong-headed. And I think some of the, I think refusal to follow public health has in part contributed to the outbreaks that we've had here in the Valley, where both Stanislaus County and San Joaquin County are at capacity and are still at the highest level of outbreak. And we know that affects the poorest of the poor. We know that affects Latinos and African Americans and those who are essential workers who are out on those front lines. So I think to have people in a position of decision-making blatantly turn their head against science is wrong-headed. And I think we have to follow science. I think we need to be strong, even when people are angry about having what they feel like their freedom's limited. But we're talking about a global pandemic, and we need to do everything we can, especially to save the most vulnerable of us, and to respect those all those essential workers who are doing all of this work to try to keep us healthy. Those picking fruit in the field, as well as our first responders, as well as our healthcare workers.
Thank you, Ms. Eggman. Mr. Ridenour.
Yeah, I don't support that decision, but I agree we need to get our businesses open and our children back into school, but we have to do that safely. We can't just open the schools up or businesses without certain guidelines from the people that are working up here. If everyone follows state guidelines, we can return to it sooner than later. We just got to get everybody following and using your own knowledge. Wear a mask.
Okay, thank you. Maria?
Okay, this will be for both of you, and this is a quick answer. So we'll start with Mayor Ridenour. What is your personal approach to wearing a mask in public?
I'm sorry. Say that again, Maria.
Sure. What is your personal approach to wearing a mask in public?
I wear the mask all the time when I'm in public. Home, I wear it constantly. I have to worry about COVID-19 in my own home, so I do wear the mask constantly.
Okay. And Assemblymember Eggman, same question. What is your personal approach to wearing a mask in public?
I wear a mask whenever I'm out in public, and I limit the time I spend in public. I have a person, my spouse has compromised immune system, so I am incredibly careful. And I have a 7th grader who's homeschooling. So I want everyone to stay healthy and get back to school. So I limit my outdoor exposure, knowing that I have extra sensitivities in my life. And I wear a mask whenever I'm in public.
Okay, this is another rapid response. We'll start with Susan. Who do you support in the race for mayor of Modesto?
I have not officially endorsed anybody yet.
Will one be forthcoming?
Was that? I would say so. Yes, I would say yes. I have been impressed with Mr. Goriel.
Jim?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question. I will be supporting my brother, Dustin. I was there 8 years, and I think he can do the job.
Very good. Okay, you are both running to succeed outgoing Senator Kathleen Galgiani. Name something positive about her and something you think she might have done better. We'll start with you, Jim.
He was a bipartisan across both sides of the aisle. She worked with each of the aisles to get things done. And she voted for AB 5.
Anything you think she could have done better, Mr. Mayor?
I'll go back to she voted for AB 5, but billions of dollars of risk. Yes, I think there is something.
And Ms. Eggman.
I think something that people may not know about Kathleen is I think she's incredibly kind. She was just texting me right before I got on here, just checking in and seeing how I was and seeing how the end of session went for me, as I did with her. So I would say that I don't know that people realize how hard she works and how just interpersonally kind she is. Well, something she could have done different. She could have endorsed me in the primary, but she has now, so that's okay. And I think that too, she's very loyal, right? She had endorsed Manny before I got in the race, and she felt it important to keep her word, and she did that, and I respected her, and we have continued on with the positive relationship.
Thank you. Patty?
Okay. I think we've come to the last question before closing statements. So we would like you to spend 1 minute each summarizing what most sets you apart from your opponent. And we will start with Susan.
Oh, most sets me apart from my opponent. Okay, well, the first thing I will say is I'm a woman, and there just aren't enough women still representing us. I think both at the state, national, and I think even if you look at your county supervisor board, any elected position. I was still like I think the 157th woman who has ever been elected to the state office in California, with over 4,500 men who have been elected. So I think we need more women at the table. One of the things we had an issue with last night was a woman with one of my peers had to come with her baby because the policies didn't reflect kind of a family friendly place. So that's that. I think I have deep relationships both with the Republican Party in the Senate and in the Assembly, as well as my peers, the Democrats. I also have a very strong relationship with the administration. When we learned that the outbreaks that we were having here and we weren't having enough, I had and I'm also a Mexican American, every Latino member of representing up and down the valley. We had the administration on the phone, and we had $54 million extra that came down to the valley. So deep relationships, ready to go on day one.
Okay, Jim, what sets you apart from your opponent?
Well, Susan Eggman is one of the most liberal assembly members in the state. I want to improve the life of everyone in Central Valley, and that means that we must work across party lines. And the other thing is I support the water rights of our farmers. I think that's one of the most important things. We can't live without agriculture, and we need them to have the amount of water that we need to have, they need to have to do it. I feel like he's short in that area.
Very good. It's time for closing statements. We had Susan go first before, so now we'll ask Jim to close it out. You'll get a chance for 1 minute closing statement. Mr. Mayor.
Oh. You know, I feel California is got a budget that's a deficit. Businesses are leaving and closing. Fires all over the state as well. Homeless is a problem. I want to be able to make us change in California. I believe my leadership that I have over the years is a proven leadership that I can go in and work on both sides.
Very good. Assemblywoman?
Yeah, I would like to continue doing the important work I've been doing, I think. It is interesting that the mayor says I'm the most liberal member in the assembly, though he agreed with me on all the policy statements that you asked us about. So, so there's that. I think I have been an effective legislator. Again, I serve on natural resources. I serve on utilities. I chair our agriculture committee. So I have a deep knowledge of the issues that we're dealing with right now. The next 4 years, I can tell you the next 4 years are not going to be pretty. And anyone who thinks they are, is I think probably pretty naive. And so I think it's going to be getting through these and making sure things are delivered for the Valley. And I think I have been a strong proponent for that. It is, the governor has been down here a couple times and that has been at our invitation, right? So to be able to use our relationships to really help this area is key. Again, I have represented San Joaquin County now since 2008 on the council and now at the state level. From Stanislaus County, I look forward to continue to represent us and get us out of this hole.
Thank you. All right, this concludes tonight's candidates forum for California Senate District 5. We sincerely appreciate you discussing these issues with us. On behalf of the Modesto Bee, I want to thank you both for your public service, both in the past and in the future. Thank you. And we want to invite viewers to tune in for more debates here at modbee.com throughout the entire month of September and up until the November 3rd election. You can go to modbee.com to see our candidates interview yesterday that we had for Stanislaus County Supervisor District 1. And on Thursday, we'll have those running for Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors District 5. And next week, we'll interview candidates for 2 of the 3 open Modesto City Council seats and also candidates for Series Mayor. Thank you and good evening.